It's our faith that says we're in this for the long haul. I remember doing site visits, and young people would say to me, how do you keep it up? How do you not get burned? And I realized in talking to them, it's because I have a bigger vision that comes to me from my faith. I have a long vision, longer than 15 years for a strategic plan. Doesn't matter if it happens in my lifetime. What matters is that I participate in that struggle for justice.
We did it because we were aligned in our values. We had deep mutual respect for each other, but we challenged each other all the time. And we had complementary skills. Ron was the banker and the person who could sell capital into the capital markets. Milton Davis had a very long view on racial issues in this country and was uniquely able to balance the tough decisions when you had to be balancing racial and business inputs. Jim Fletcher was the deal maker. And me, I was just this young person who I always wanted to do the next new thing, as George Surgeon will confirm.
Attitude reflects leadership. Because what kind of attitudes permeate our organizations, our industry? What kind of leaders are we? How important is it that we understand our markets? Are we developing and offering products that truly meet the needs of our markets that we say we serve, or are we providing what we think is best for them? Are we practicing what we preach? Are we as innovative in developing diverse teams and leadership in our organizations as we are in putting together financing transactions? Or do we give up too easily when our natural networks don't immediately give us the results that we want?
We really haven't scratched the surface of our potential with individual investors or individual donors either, for that matter. I think the place to start, and that Chuck would have us start talking to people about capital, is talk to ourselves. If we, who know more about this than anybody else, don't have some of our personal money invested in our communities and in CDFIs, then how can we talk authentically to others about doing it?
We have an opportunity as an industry and as a field to take this time to really build a new narrative for the nation, a narrative about responsible lending, about good capital, a narrative about the importance of building domestic policy that doesn't assume that markets can cure everything, but also doesn't assume that the public sector can do everything that needs to be done.
Experience of all of the minorities, which are really majorities in so many ways in this world, created the momentum and the vision of what I think is what guides our industry today and are the roots of our industry. Both the CDCs that originally came out of the Equal Opportunity Act of 1965, and then later on CDFIs, and any of us who are at the local level trying to create economic opportunity. It was fueled by the civil rights movement.
The second existential challenge is the climate emergency and the role of CDFIs. Yes, we're tiny compared to the overall capital markets and institutional deposits and that sort of thing. But we've already demonstrated that we can have an outsized influence on outcomes in the field. I would really like us to see, and very happy that OFN is forming this group around the climate emergency, particularly since our communities, the ones we serve, are disproportionately affected by it.
I personally hate the notion of using philanthropy as part of the description of what CDFIs do. It might come out of budgets that are called philanthropy, but what CDFIs do is finance survival, growth, opportunity, justice, okay? By no stretch of imagination, or at least my imagination, that is not philanthropy. That is justice, okay? That is what we have to do together.
The disability community intersects with all communities. Black, Indigenous, people of color, as well as the LGBTQ plus community. And the disability community deserves opportunity and investment. People with disabilities must be included in all of our initiatives that address diversity, equity, and inclusion. And people with disabilities must be included across the multiple sectors of our CDFI industry in consumer lending, small business lending, housing, facility lending, and more. And I'm challenging you to do more. Be truly inclusive and bring people with disabilities into your community.
This honor does not fall lightly on me because it comes from the CDFI industry. All of us in this movement, we work day in and day out to build our communities. Collectively, we make a difference in hundreds of thousands of lives. I recently read that for the most part, people live by stories. Without stories, we lose our memories, fail to find our own place in the present, and remain without hope or expectation for the future.
But you know, it's not enough. I mean, we've all done lots, and I hate to even challenge us to do more. But I would like to challenge you just a little bit. And use the brain trust here to open more capital up for our underserved communities, not just Indian country, but the Mississippi Delta, Appalachia, all of those places.
We can invest 10 times more than we're investing today, and we should. And we can grow our field 10 times over, and we should. But if the people we want to help wake up in the morning knowing that the scales are tilted against them, uncertain that they can depend on our system of laws and justice for fairness, then all of our investing is undone. We can't build our way or invest our way out of racism or misogyny.
It's important that our deals work and that we meet our metrics. But what makes CDFIs different is our mission. Empowering people and communities, opening doors to opportunity, pushing for equity and equality, treating everyone with the dignity they deserve.
Inclusion matters in America. Inclusion matters. All people are valuable, and CDFIs must continue fighting for the little guy or the underdog, even when it requires that we as individuals be the power of one, that we swim upstream because we can make a difference.